What's going on, y'all? Polo Sports Talking Entertainment. Back again with another one. Be sure to hit that like button, sub to the channel if you're not a member, and also hit the notifications so that you're able to get all of my content as well as all of my videos. Now, I meant to report on this yesterday. Uh, it was announced yesterday that Ben Simmons would go undergo back surgery, rather, and that was announced by Mark Spears on via Twitter. And he ended up going he ended up undergoing surgery today, a microdiscectomy, in order to relieve the pain from his herniated disc after consulting with multiple back specialists, according to reports. Now, Simmons is expected, according to Adrian Wojnarowski, to make a full recovery within 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, and he'll be ready for training camp next season. At least that's what they said. Now, there's going to be some, I guess you could say, guys that are going to finger point and be like, see, I told you he was hurt. I told you he was hurt and everything, because we know that I would say towards the end of the season, he was dealing with the back pain. And not only was he dealing with the back pain, the pain had got so excruciating that he had to end up getting epidural shots in his back, and that's a reference to the herniated disc. Everybody knew that stuff. Now, there were actually several people out there that had told me that they felt like Ben Simmons was not going to play, and I had broke a story that Ben Simmons was supposed to be returning, for the Celtics series, but unfortunately that did not take place. And that's when I knew to myself, I said, okay, nah, this guy, there's clearly something wrong with him. Not only from a physical standpoint, but also the mental. But, I'm not going to sit up here and say that the guy was lying about, the back pain, because, back pain is something very severe. Now, my question is this, though, why wouldn't you get something like this, corrected, a lot sooner or whatever? But given the time frame that they're talking about that it takes, in order for him to rehabilitate and everything, then that probably wouldn't have made any sense either. And then also him coming out there with little to no action at all. And the reason why I say little is the simple fact that, he was playing at, Saint Joseph's, against guys that wasn't, at the level of competition that he would have been playing if he stepped on the floor with guys that already got training camp under their belts, the preseason under their belt, and as well as the playoffs too. It wouldn't have made any sense. He would have got ran up out of there and possibly put himself in a position to where he would have got hurt. Now, they have no excuses now. Okay? And I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you. They have no excuses now. Ben Simmons doesn't have any excuses. KD and Kyrie definitely don't have no excuses, and Steve Nash doesn't have any excuses. None of the Brooklyn Nets have no excuses coming in now. Now you've got to get it done, okay? And everybody is pointing the finger, to several people on that squad, which it consists of KD, of course, then of course Kyrie, and of course Steve Nash. But a lot of people are talking about Ben Simmons too as well. Now, this is the thing: if Ben Simmons continues to have these sort of problems, because let's not forget that he was injured coming into the season, or coming into his rookie campaign rather. Hey, we have to we have to start addressing this. I mean, are you healthy? And this is something that I've been talking about, and several of the other guys have been talking about in reference to the CBA. Look, I'm not going to continue to stand with these players in terms of the CBA if the consumer and the people that are watching and the fans, everybody else, especially the owners, they're not getting the product on the floor that they want to see. Whether it has to do with, your mental state first and foremost, and as well as your physical state. And fans feel like they are getting cheated and robbed out of their money for what they want to see. And there's people out there, believe it or not, that actually want to see a guy like Ben Simmons out on the floor. There's people out there that want to see Kawhi Leonard out on the floor. There's people that want to see Jamal Murray out on the floor. There's people that want to see AD out on the floor. Okay, despite how we may feel here on YouTube and these other outlets and within the LDBC, there's still people that are fans of them, you know, and it's got to stop. Now, look, I understand that the human body, it takes time to heal. Uh, Time is of the essence. I do understand that Rome wasn't built in a day, and your body is a temple too. And now, having said that, the body is a temple, we also have to understand that you have to realize what you're doing in the off season. And I've said this time and time again, is very vital to what takes place and what's going to happen to you in the future. Look, Ben Simmons is a talented individual. Okay. I don't want to make any mistake about that. And I've been critical about him. I've been critical about a lot of guys. They're always going to get the smoke. But I think what would change my outlook on a guy like Ben Simmons is the fact that if, you know, you get everything corrected that you can in terms of your mental state, and if your approach was a lot more different, even though there have been reports and he's shown that he's been working out on his jumper and stuff like that. But I mean, showing us and then actually going out there and doing it is two different things. And what I would like to see him do is not even complain. Not that he's sitting there, telling everybody anything or saying a whole bunch of stuff and being loud about it or anything. But just the best thing that you could do right now is just to stay quiet and then hit people with the okie doke, meaning that you worked on your game. Well, first and foremost, you worked on your body first and foremost, because if you haven't worked on your body, you pretty much can't do anything from a physicality standpoint. So now you're gonna have to show people that you're able to stay healthy first and foremost. You're mentally ready to go, psychologically, and then also you got to show people, okay, look, I'm willing to get better. You still have quite a bit of time in order to make strides in your game. I've said that time and time again. And it's not taking anything away from him. Now, if that was a case where you're pretty much a seasoned vet, you're well on your, I think what, you know, early 30s or even late 20s or whatnot, 29 or something like that, then guess what? Then right there, I'd be like, look, it's time for you to possibly hang them up or go in another direction because it's not working for you. But if you're showing, okay, hey, I want to get better, I'm working to get better, because you have a lot of guys. Look, a guy like Clay Thompson, okay, he's been out pretty much 2 years, okay, 941 days, all right, and has not touched a basketball, okay, has not touched a basketball, right? Suffered two major injuries. However, people could come out here and say, Clay's not the same. He doesn't move this way. He's not doing that. Well, I mean, you try having an Achilles as well as an ACL or an knee problem, and then see if you could just jump right back out there with a whole bunch of young young wolves. We're not talking about guys in their 30s or in their 40s or anything like that. That have NBA legs and been playing for quite some time or seasoned vets or anything. We're talking about young guys whose twitch muscles are relatively fresh, and on top of that, guys out there that have been playing. They still got all this youth under their belt. We're talking about a guy that consistently was in the finals. So those many seasons, or they were at least competing at a high level. We have to look at it from that standpoint. But what you want to look at it as is, oh yeah, well this guy. Look, I give him props for even coming out there. And look, they rushed him. Well, the Golden State Warriors staff, I felt like they could have brought him along just a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? And that was because I guess that was me being a little biased to a degree because I am a Clay Thompson fan. I like what he brings to the table. He's my favorite player on the Warriors, and I just didn't want to see that guy get hurt again. But having said all of that, the reason why I bring that up is because you have a guy like Clay Thompson that was fighting to get back. He was doing everything necessary and possible, and he piped down. He shut up. He didn't say anything. And that's actually one of the attributes that I like about Clay Thompson because he just goes out there and he's a winner and he's fighting. And even in this case, some people could be like, "Man, why are you playing, man? You've been out 2 years and da 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 and all this other stuff, and now you're playing in the playoffs and stuff like that." Some people are going to criticize him. You know, Me myself personally, look, Ben Simmons, the only thing that he could do right now is either just get better and get to work, or just don't cheat the game because with the CBA right now, they're not about to play any games right now, and they see that the ratings are skyrocketing. You have everybody talking about how this is a tremendous playoffs right now in terms of what's going on, in terms of what's being consumed right now. People want to see competitive team ball games now. And who did I just talk about? One of them just happened to be in the playoffs right now in the Golden State Warriors when we talk about Klay Thompson. You know, so look, it's up to Ben Simmons to come back, revitalize, refocus, and everything. Do I still got faith in him? Uh yeah, I have a little bit of faith in him, but now it's either put up or shut up now, because you're getting whatever it is corrected about you, and you're also coming in a whole at the beginning of the season. But if you slip up, you said the era of super teams and hero ball is coming to an end. What's up with it, Tay Cox? I see you in the building. Yeah, that's facts. Yeah, nobody wants to see ISO ball anymore or anything like that. And on top of that, people want to see tough, rugged individuals from a standpoint of their mentality, meaning that okay, they're gonna do whatever it takes that's necessary to win. Okay, you know, if it means that they have to play, through nagging injuries or being hurt or something like that, so be it. But they're gonna do what's necessary, and that's what the NBA was once about. You know what I'm saying? It was about being able to triumph through whatever you were going through, whether you were missing players, whether you were you had something wrong with your foot, or you were dealing with something wrong with a broken nose or something like that. That's why I give a guy like Devin Booker his just due. A lot of people criticize a guy like Devin Booker, but Devin Booker didn't complain when he had broke his nose. That's what we have to talk about. And you see what Phoenix is doing right now. Phoenix has a they have an old school type of mentality mixed with a new way of doing things. They got an old school, new school thing going on. Um, the other thing that we got to talk about too is the Jazz. Now, I told y'all that the Jazz right now are are going to need to break this team up, especially when we talk about Donovan Mitchell and we talk about Rudy Gobert. Okay, now there have been reports of Rudy Gobert saying that he wants to be out of there. Now a lot of that was denied by Rudy Gobert, but I believe that there is a lot of truth to what's going on. Now they haven't been happy for quite some time. Okay, um, and Donovan Mitchell has came out and pretty much has spoken, and he had basically had voiced everything how he was feeling. Now, let me say this about Donovan Mitchell, okay? I was very critical of him. I was very critical of him in the way that he played because first and foremost, he was a volume shooter, okay? And he was very inefficient for the way that he was shooting. And on top of that, he was taken away from most of his team. So you could tell, that right, quite naturally, some people would think that a guy like Rudy Gobert wouldn't necessarily agree with playing with a guy like Donovan Mitchell. Um, he showed his uh, inability to be uh, prominent on defense at times, and he's got to continue to improve on his decision making skills, his decision making ability rather. Okay, and this is what Mitchell had to say. He said, "quote I wasn't there. I wasn't where I wanted to be this year." He said, and there were times this year when the ball rolled out that we didn't show that we wanted to be a championship, a team with championship aspirations. I'm looking forward to working on my game all summer and getting into the gym. I'm looking forward to putting the work in. Look, um, all that all that is fine, Donovan Mitchell, but you're gonna have to really utilize your team. He's a very what's up with it, a true Viking. I see you in the building, Kareem. Now, a lot of people they're gonna say that he's talented and you know he need to go ahead and move out of there. Either go to Miami, with his mentor D Wade, or he's gonna need to you know go back go back to his stomping grounds in New York and all this stuff, right? But me myself personally, whether you go to New York, whether you go to Miami, uh, whether you go to any of these places, right? You're still gonna have to be a team player, and you're still gonna you being inefficient. It's not gonna make any difference whether you're in Utah, whether you're in Miami or New York. And Donovan Mitchell still he's 25. He's still learning and everything, but at the same token, now you have been with Rudy Gobert for quite some time now as a teammate and everything. And y'all have been in the trenches together and y'all been in the playoffs. By now y'all should be getting a little bit further, and that's what some people are looking at it as. Now I know a lot of people were real critical including myself, of a guy like Quinn Snyder. He definitely does deserve the smoke. Um, you know, I I don't think he should be, you know, coaching Utah. That's just my personal opinion. I know he did have hip replacement surgery, from what I understand, and but besides all that, we got to look for, what's next with some of these other guys. I'm looking at free agents like Trent Forrest and Eric Pascal. And Eric Pascal, he's one of my favorite guys because this guy right here, he's like a guy that could pretty much do everything, and I don't think he gets looked at enough. As a matter of fact, when he came to Utah, I felt like this was his pretty much coming out party because everybody was calling him, the revamp version of a guy like Draymond Green that could do, pretty much everything. And on top of that, he was extraordinary athletic, very athletic. I would have liked him personally over there in Philly. I would have liked the guy like Eric Pascal, but you know, I guess that's just wishful thinking on my part. But the Utah Jazz, they're gonna have to break this team up. I mean, that's just if they plan on going uh, to some places. I felt like the guy that was a glue, so to speak, a guy that was a big loss was a guy in Joe Ingles. I've said it once and I'll say it again. This guy, or I've said it many times, Joe Ingles was a tremendous loss, and the fact that they lost him, it took a lot out of the team, and collectively as a group, they just didn't perform well. They could have did much better. As far as Rudy Gobert, look, I've been critical of him too. He's got to get the smoke too. Rudy Gobert isn't no, he's not no saint, and Rudy Gobert continuously gets exposed. Okay, that's something that he's gonna have to work on. You said trade Donovan Mitchell to Miami involving Tyler Hero, trade Gobert to the Warriors for Wiseman. Well, Ted Cox, they've already had that narrative. I saw that. They were talking about they were gonna possibly pursue Rudy Gobert, the Warriors. What's up with the think tank? I see you in the building. And then also, the whole Miami situation with Donovan Mitchell. A lot of people, I've talked to a couple guys, and they said that they would want Donovan Mitchell in a place like New York. But yeah, that might be your stomping ground and everything. But at the same token, you're still gonna have to deal with the media. You know, still gonna have to deal with the media, and you're gonna have to deal with the fans. And New York fans, just like Boston fans, just like LA fans, just like Chicago fans, even Miami fans, they're very unforgiving. You know, even you said, man, we ain't giving up our Tyler. I tell you, get off the gas. What's up with this food? I see you in the building. Well, I mean, look, Tyler Hero is definitely he's gonna be the bag is gonna be thrown his way, especially considering the fact that he was a six man of the year. I think Tyler Hero feels like he could be a starter. And I've always said that I've always liked Tyler Hero's game. Now, all this Kobe Bryant nonsense and all this comparison to Kobe Bryant and stuff like that, that right there, that's a whole bunch of cap. The late great Kobe Bryant was just a whole different beast. However, when we talk about a guy like a Tyler Hero, what's up with it, Scrub Zero? I see you in the building. Make sure y'all go subscribe to the homeboy Scrub Zero. You say I don't want Donovan Mitchell. He takes too many dumb shots for me. Yeah, I mean that's true. That's an aspect of his game that he's got to get better. If he tightened up on his defense and tightened up a little bit on his playmaking and his ability to trust others, and his like I said, his decision making ability, he'll be much better. You said the Mike Beasley situation has made me pause as a brother more than a fan going hard on athletes, even on Ben Simmons, because truth comes out, injury or mental. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, Mike Beasley had so much going on, man. He had death in his family and everything, and he uh, he definitely took a couple of L's. You say, yeah, nah, they tweaking with that polo. Yeah, absolutely. He plays no defense. Now, I'm not gonna say he doesn't play no defense, but his defense could get a little better. Especially given that the fact of the athleticism of a guy like a Donovan Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Uh, Donovan Mitchell, Donovan Mitchell is the type of player that feels like he can, take control of pretty much everything. It's kind of like that Luca syndrome. David Ruffin and the Temptations, and they're going to get exploited. Players like that are going to get exploited, especially during this time. Listen, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna close on this because I gotta run, y'all. But as Luda Ryder has said, and he said this in a video, he said pretty much that team ball is running everything right now. I think Ted Cox had talked about it too. This ISO game that that teams are playing and everything, they don't want to play that. They don't want to do that anymore. And when the ball is moving and the ball doesn't stick, guess what? You have your success rate as a team is going to be much better. Look at Golden State Warriors. Look at the Boston Celtics. Look at because you see the Boston Celtics are playing much different because they had that players meeting. They figured out that ISO ball and shot jacking isn't going to get you nowhere. Now the ball is moving and you're playing good defense. You're rebounding, doing everything else. So look, like I said, man, they're gonna have to do something because what they're doing isn't working. But again, hey, this is our Polo Sports Talk and Entertainment. Make sure y'all like the video, share it, subscribe, hit the notification so that you're notified. Till then, man, I'll get at y'all later.